to further advance the gospel of Jesus Christ and to partner with each of you in that cause. That was my heartbeat when our family arrived here in 2014, and that has been my passion every passing day since. Through much prayer and consultation and advice from my family and others who've traveled this road before, and confidence in some close friends, I've decided that my leadership as your pastor needs to come to an end soon, simply because I've done all that I can do with all that I've been given. God has been good to me, and God has been good to this church. So that needs to say the same. It's simply someone else's time to take the reins and lead you to the place where you need to be. I knew that coming to Sinking Creek would be a tall task following a legend of over 50 years. For many of you who are still here today, who've been attending Sinking Creek for many decades, you've only known one pastor until I was called. I understood that 6 years ago, and I understand it even more today. In fact, I welcome the challenge to fill some pretty big shoes. Though certainly without imperfections and shortcomings, I have followed in Reese's shadow to the best of my abilities. But more importantly, it was never about him. It was and is about the furtherance and advancement of the gospel message. That's why God called me here, and that's why I will complete the task. Though there are some things that if I could push rewind, I would have done differently. But there are no regrets, and my family's love for each of you will never change. For a few months now, I've been struggling between an enduring desire to stay and see productive change, and the reality that God is doing a new work in my heart and preparing my family for something even more fulfilling. I believe for a long time that God always wants us in our ministry decisions to run to something and not from something. Let me be clear. I'm not running from anything. I made a commitment back in 1990 to be faithful to upholding the doctrines of the Christian faith, both in my personal life and in my call to ministry. I've preached the book faithfully since then and without hesitation. And if God grants me 30 more years to do the same, my priority to preach His Word will remain steadfast. I have all the confidence in the Lord that the best days for Sinking Creek are still ahead. Our finest hours here will never be forgotten, and I will always seek to grow from the challenges that all of us met along the way. Looking back on 60 baptisms, some great revival times, some great mission trips, and some of the finest fellowship moments that our family has known will forever be etched in our memory and engraved in our hearts. The challenges that the church faces today will never outweigh the past victories and the ultimate glory that lies ahead. For some 248 years, by the grace of God, this church has stood the test of time, being faithful in the Word and to the authority of Scripture. And I pray that you continue on that same path. Your faithfulness to the cause of Christ is an enduring testimony to everyone throughout the state of Tennessee and beyond. My tenure here has never been about a legacy that I could leave behind, but only about something greater than myself. I've enjoyed every bit of it. The gospel has always been greater than any one individual or any congregation. It has always been and will always be about the person of Jesus Christ. So today I give you a 2-week notice My last Sunday as your pastor will be June 14th. Lord willing, my final sermon will be that evening from inside the old log church, live streamed. And Lord willing, my last baptism will be for my son Gentry. I love you all. We love you. And you'll always be our friends. God's got great things in store. If I could leave you with these words at the tail end of this sermon, I would tell you this: follow the Lord wholly. That'll be the deciding factor in all that we do. And it should be. I'm going to ask Thomas to come and lead us in a song. Maybe as we sing, or maybe as we finish here today, if you want to take a moment. I often open an altar up to pray. If you want to come and do that, you can. Feel free to. If you want to pray where you are, you can. If you just want to sing where you're at, you can. So let's rejoice in the Lord today that He's got great plans in store, because He does. Thomas, would you come? Would you stand to your feet where you're at?